Deer overpopulation is a major nationwide environmental concern in rural and suburban areas. Due to a lack of natural predators, in this picture we have a family of wolf pups eating a fresh deer kill, lower hunting rates, deforestation, urban sprawl, and successful past conservation efforts, deer populations have exploded. This map shows deer density throughout the United States. The darker areas where there's more than 30 deer per square mile are areas such as Michigan, Wisconsin, the East Coast, and southern states from Georgia all the way down to Texas. White-tailed deer are found mostly east of the Rocky Mountains, and they're able to survive a variety of habitats, from Florida swampland to Texan deserts to Maine forests. Male deer are bucks, female deer are does, and baby and young deer are fawns. Deer feed on grasses, herbs, flowers, leaves, twigs, and in general consume 3% of their body weight each day. This means that a 200-pound buck will end up eating 6 to 10 pounds of food a day. At one point during the early 1900s, there were 500,000 white-tailed deer in the United States due to unregulated hunting, putting them at risk for extinction. This number has grown to over 30 million to date. How does deer overpopulation affect us? The most easily recognized way is when you drive down the turnpike and see roadkill on the side of the road, remains from a deer that hit a car or truck the night before. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, on average, 1.4 million Americans every year get into vehicle collisions with deer, with up to $1.5 billion in property damage occurring from deer vehicle collisions. Of these accidents, some even injure or kill the person behind the wheel. It is not uncommon to have your car end up totaled out from hitting a 200-pound buck at 60 miles per hour that seemingly came out of nowhere. Even aircraft aren't safe. The FAA reports that from 1990 to 2012, 1,037 deer were struck by civil aircraft during landing or takeoff. Deers are carriers for ticks which can carry Lyme disease. In this picture, this doe has a heavy tick infestation, especially around her neck and ears. One deer can carry 600 ticks on their body. This gives ticks the ability to spread through a forest very effectively. Pictured as a black-legged deer, which is the most common vector of Lyme disease. Lyme disease is transmitted through tick bites. There is evidence that reducing deer populations can reduce tick populations, in turn, which can reduce the incidence of Lyme disease. Contrary to popular belief, however, deer do not infect ticks with the bacterium that causes Lyme disease. Small rodents carry the Borrelia bacterium that ticks can spread, and then ticks latch onto deer and feed off their blood. Overgrazing is the biggest environmental problem. Just like livestock can overgraze a prairie and leave it a barren wasteland, deer can overbrowse a forest and reduce its undergrowth. As you can see, this forest only has weeds and grasses. The only plants that could grow fast enough despite deer overbrowsing. You can almost walk through the forest without any obstacles in the way. The following picture shows a healthy forest with plenty of seedlings and undergrowth to fertilize the soil. Some tree species are so impacted by deer they would have to be planted to restore their previous mounts. Current deer populations in eastern North America will lead to the extinction of ginseng, as shown, a popular medicinal herb within the next century. Overgrazing by deer can also reduce wildlife diversity. They will eat faster than the plants can grow back. This is another picture of a forest that's been overbrowsed. As you can see, there's very little undergrowth, and the only plants that could survive deer overbrowsing were weeds and grasses that could grow back fast enough. Without new saplings and seedlings, we lose habitats for songbirds and other small animals to shelter and nest. This also reduces native species, because by removing habitats that can be out of reach of natural predators, they will have less of a chance to propagate and reproduce. Deer can also show preference towards eating native plants over invasive plants, which will further place pressure on a native plant. The worst part is that this damage is slow and cumulative, meaning that it is often overlooked and chalked up as being natural. Deer overpopulation can be managed through reintroducing natural predators such as wolves and coyotes, along with encouraging hunting. 2 healthy deer can produce as much as 30 fawns within a 7-year period. Doing nothing, as some animal rights activists will suggest, will not reduce deer populations fast enough and can lead to disease or starvation in local deer populations. Encouraging hunting is cost-effective, as hunters will do the labor at no cost, along with raising funds for small businesses from hunters buying supplies and taxes through hunting licenses. Extending hunting season or only allowing for the hunting of antlerless white-tailed deer, meaning does and fawns, are 2 ways to do so. By the way, this is a picture of venison steak, which is one of the products that you can make off deer. It is very delicious. In more suburban areas, where local laws do not permit hunting, the City of New York, such as the City of New York, sterilization is used. The City of New York manages their deer population through sterilizing the populace. However, this is expensive and difficult to do in larger rural areas. This is a map of regular and bow hunting deer seasons in the state of New York, put out by the Department of Conservation. As you can see, deer hunting is not allowed within the 5 boroughs, and the deer hunting season throughout the southern zone is open mostly from October 1st all the way up to December 18th. Now, if the state of New York decided to further control deer populaces, or they had too heavily of a deer infestation in some areas, they would extend out the hunting season or encourage hunters to only go for antlerless deer. Deer populations must be managed in North America to further prevent the loss of biodiversity in forests, economic losses, and control the spread of Lyme disease.